TGC Requiem here. We're doing some Legacy Elves tonight. Haven't played Legacy in a while, so bear with me. Unfortunately, our deck list generator is acting a little wonky tonight, so we're just feeding off of goldfish. If you want to follow on Twitter, information's down in the bottom right corner there. I do occasionally, as I did tonight, list out some decks and give people a choice on what I record, so if that sounds like something you might be interested in. Alright, so I haven't played Legacy in a while. We'll see how this works. I actually think this is a good hand, so we could potentially glimpse chain off this. We can open up on Forest, which is great. So no idea what the meta's like. I really haven't played Legacy since November of last year. So we're just going to lose to Chalice on 1 here. And these are how these things go. Oh, how about that? Talk about being an utter luck sack. So this is actually why I am running 2 caverns. I know a lot of people are looking at cutting 1 cavern, but I feel like Elves is kind of a natural target after, and I'm not saying I'm an expert because I haven't been playing much lately, but with the Miracles banning, I do feel like Elves is a natural target, and so I feel like Chalice and also Storm, and so I feel like Chalice would likely see a pretty decent uptick. And so that's why I decided to keep 2 cavern instead of cutting 1 for an extra fetch. So we got Big Red here. We're going straight into Sneak and Show, Blood Moon. Okay. Oh, now I really wish that I... Jeez, this is just brutal. This is how Elves loses. So we do have, or did have the ability to get a Forest, but we do not now. We don't have really the ability to cast anything, so we're probably just going to lose straight up here. If we could have gotten the Birch Lore Ranger down, we would have been alright. I mean, we basically are draw Forest or lose right now. I mean, unless our opponent just has nothing and we can get him in with a quick. Quick 16 strikes. Yeah, so this is just Big Red. He's gonna probably be throwing out a Grizzlebrand or Inferno Titan's pretty good. The problem here is we've just lost. No matter what we do here, we're just dead. Yep, we're just going to concede. Even if we were to draw into some ability to cast green creatures, the Inferno Titan's just going to kill them every turn as we play them. So it's an effective turn 3 win. So this definitely seems like it's Big Red. Nothing like losing before your first turn. Okay, let's see here. So just red. I don't know that they have anything to really handle Progenitus, but I don't know that that's necessarily our game plan either. They're probably not sneaking showing in there. Typically want Abrupt Decays against the Chalices and extra work against the Blood Moon. And I think we probably want to bring in Thoughtseize, possibly Surgical Extraction, but that sure feels like a lot. Natural Order tends to be really good against the non-blue decks, so we don't want to pull those, which means we probably want to pull, if we're going to be bringing in this much, this many non-creature spells, we're going to definitely want to shave on some Glimpse and some creatures for the combo. So I think we're probably going to be pulling out 2 or 3 Glimpse, probably 2 Glimpse. On the play we may want to keep the extra Glimpse. No, two feet creatures. So we're going to pull probably 3 Glimpse here, I'm thinking, and then we're going to pull a couple Heritage Druid, we're going to pull a couple Nettle Sentinels. Actually, I think we may... Don't need we might need... No, we don't need Scavenging Ooze. I'm going to cut one more card here, and I think we're just going to go with another Nettle Sentinel. Oh, this deck scares me. Well, we can get a forest and go get a Dryad Arbor. The Abrupt Decay becomes dead then. I don't know that we actually want to go get a Dryad Arbor here. I think we'd rather go get like a Birchlore Ranger. So I think we're going to get a forest and just play out the Wirewood Symbiote. Since they're typically trying to cheat the creatures in from hand, I'm less worried about the graveyard, which is why we pulled the Scavenging Ooze. Got another Chalice for 1. Opponent's got all the luck in the world. So we're going to be able to Cradle. We can't Birchlore with the Symbiote, however. And so I think we actually... just going to attack to start. I think we're going to go get Quirion Ranger. That allows us to recycle our forest, play it multiple times a turn. Could also get Deathrite Shaman. That could actually be pretty useful. Then we could cast our Thoughtseize and or the Abrupt Decay the following turn. I feel like I actually like that a little bit better. If I could have cast Birchlore Rangers before combat and paired it with the Symbiote to cast Thoughtseize, I would have done that, but that's not an elf. So I think we're actually going to go with Deathrite Shaman here. This also protects us a little bit against any 1 CMC sweeper or 1 damage sweepers. Batterskull is not so problematic. We can actually kill the token with the Abrupt Decay. We could Natural Order here, but it's not going to do enough damage. What's more important, Thoughtseize or Abrupt Decay? I guess we can't actually play the Symbiote for 1, or the Thoughtseize without destroying the Chalice. The Germ token itself and the damage it represents isn't that problematic. And that's all we're going to do for this turn. And so long as we can cast creatures, we're not so stressed about the Batterskull as we can get the Crater Hoof out for much damage. So if we play the Verdant Catacombs, get a Dryad Arbor, tap for 4 mana, we can Natural Order, eating the Dryad Arbor, going to get a Crater Hoof, which would be 9 plus 15, 24 damage. He would go up to 23. Block 4 of that damage, which would take him down to 4. So it's not lethal, but he does have to chump. But I suppose if he has any sort of red removal, he could still think that's the right play. We should be able to close it out with the leftover Crater Hoof. Plus you'd have to use Ancient Tomb, put him down to like 1. We should be able to close it out. If we had another elf, we could actually use that. Well, we might be able to anyway, actually. So he's going to turn the Batterskull to hand. No, you have to return an elf, that's right. So cast a Seething Song, and then, yeah, into another Batterskull. The opponent just concedes. Well, we got there. A little stressful. Let's hope our opponent doesn't draw quite so well this game. In all the excitement, I have forgotten to update the match here. So we're at 1-1. I don't know that we want to bring Progenitus in. I feel like we just need to be faster than our opponent. We really got to beat his Blood Moons and Chalices. The problem with the Chalice is he can play it before we even get a chance to do anything. Have we seen anything that makes me feel like Pithing Needle is truly necessary here? We may get a limited chance, and on the draw it might be... well, I don't think so. So it might be worth just going at the glimpse. You know, so Pithing Needle in my mind, I'm thinking like Grizzlebrand and maybe Sneak and Show. Or not Sneak and Show, Sneak Attack. I almost wonder if faster mana, or just getting more mana with like an extra Heritage Druid is more worthwhile. I'm actually going to be a little more creaturey here to try and suppose we could say we don't think we're fast enough for Symbiote and Visionary to do much. And in that case, we could try and get more of our mana accelerants back in. Actually, I think I like that here. The risk is we become really, really weak to the Chalice on one. I still think that we may only get like one shot if he misses a Chalice in his opening hand. He shouldn't hit it all 3 games mathematically. Doesn't mean that he won't, but Reclamation Sage, Dryad Arbors. This is keepable so long as he doesn't hit turn 1. I think I'm going to keep this just because we have Reclamation Sage and Abrupt Decay. So we should be able to kill the Chalice. If he doesn't get a Chalice turn 1, we get to fire off Thoughtseize to try and get a Blood Moon. So I think we're okay with this, even though this is not an explosive hand. No Chalice. Oh, I take it back. Here's our Chalice. Alright. I feel like if he had a Soul Land, he would have played it, which means we should be able to play Dryad Arbor. And I mean, it's a little risky. It's not really risky because we have to get a black mana source anyway to cast Abrupt Decay next turn. But I feel like we can afford to skip the Thoughtseize, plan to Abrupt Decay the following turn. That's what I'm going to go with here. If he had a Soul Land, he would have played it first, unless it was City of Traders, possibly. Oh, Cavern's great. I feel like we just really run a risk of Blood Moon here, though. I suppose Dryad Arbor's still a creature. We could play out the Deathrite Shaman and the Thoughtseize, which turns on Abrupt Decay. Next, well, at least turns on the Reclamation Sage. I think that's actually the line here. I'm going to lead on Thoughtseize. I'm an idiot. We can't Thoughtseize because the Chalice is on 1, which is why we had to Abrupt Decay. That's such a bummer. Oh, I'm bummed out about that. Talking myself in circles here. Forgetting the reason why we were doing what we were doing in the first place. Maybe we'll get lucky. What do we have here? Sandstone Needle enters the battlefield tapped with 2 depletion counters on it. Remove depletion counter, add 2 mana. Sure. Alright. So, I actually want to hold now. If we can blow up Chalice, we could actually start to chain some stuff together with 4. Not if we play that. If we play the Deathrite Shaman, we're going to want to lead Glimpse into Shaman, Visionary. So I think we just play out the Dryad Arbor here and then plan to Abrupt Decay the Chalice. On his turn, and then the hope is we're going to be able to Glimpse, Deathrite, Visionary, draw some cards, set ourselves up. Not a whole lot we can do about this. Unfortunately, short of a Glimpse chain, this game is over, and unfortunately we're not Glimpse chaining through 1 mana. Can't help but feel like that one turn that I screwed up that Abrupt Decay didn't cost me the game there. Well, Quirion Ranger is actually pretty great. If we play out... Man, if we just had 1 more mana, we could get rid of that sneak attack. I think we just got to play out the Shaman and the Quirion Ranger as much as we'd like to Glimpse. I guess we could hold off on the... we just need the mana. And that gives us, next turn, a Shaman activation, 2 with the Bayou, another Shaman activation, replay the Bayou, and Cavern. So we're talking 5 mana next turn with a Glimpse, a Visionary, and a Reclamation Sage. I think we do. I think we need to just play the Quirion Ranger, Shaman, hope he doesn't have anything else to go with here. That gives us the best chance of trying to combo out in some manner next turn. Looks like maybe a Batter Skull. As long as Sphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast costs 3 instead. Alright, well, let's look for a good spell here. He only has 1 card in hand. Oh, geez, he actually has something to do with the sneak attack. Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. And this is where the rust comes in, and some of it is rushing a little bit too much, so you want to try and avoid that if possible. Learn from my mistakes, don't repeat them. So that's a bummer. So we're 0-1 and 1-2. Alright, well, hopefully we will run into something a little less hateful. In the next match, we'll get to see a little bit of what Elves can do.